I was walking from the hospital car park with my parents into the hospital and my phone rang. I just had a feeling that this wasn't something that was going to be good news. Scott and I met at work many years ago. Just a really kind heart, really interested in getting involved in life. He didn't want to be a spectator, he really wanted to embrace life. And we were dating for about 18 months before we got engaged and then got married within 2 years. Some of the best times of my life. I would never have foreseen what happened. Scott and I went to visit my family for Christmas in the UK, and while we were there was a big outbreak of swine flu, and Scott caught swine flu and became very sick. When we got back to Sydney, I noticed that he was a little bit confused. I said to him, let's go to hospital, and we went to the emergency department. I actually thought we were going to go. They would tell us, just go home, keep your fluids up, just rest and you'll be fine. When he was triaged in emergency, they said that we needed to take him to resus. That's when I realised that things were really serious. Scott was admitted to ICU. He was there for just under 2 weeks in a drug-induced coma. When he was in ICU, he actually went downhill. I was walking from the hospital car park with my parents into the hospital and my phone rang. I just had a feeling that this wasn't something that was going to be good news. Scott and I had previously had a conversation about organ donation, and so I said to the ICU doctor, would it be possible for him to be an organ donor? Would he be an appropriate candidate? Even in that really dark situation, I knew that something really good would come out of this. First of all, I was helping Scott fulfill what he wanted to do, which was a real honour and a privilege, but I knew that out there, 2 Australians were getting phone calls that were about to completely change the course of their lives. After we'd confirmed that Scott wanted to be an organ donor, there were people that were around us really caring for us, really amazing support for us, but huge respect for Scott as well. And still treated him as a person, still spoke to him, still cared for him, were completely respectful of him as a person, as you would want any of your loved ones to be treated, whether they were in a coma or completely lucid. So I was really touched by the way that continued throughout our time in the hospital, regardless of whether we'd confirmed or not confirmed that Scott was an organ donor. Wasn't an easy process. First of all, you confirm the fact that your loved one was registered as an organ donor, but then you need to go through and consent for each and every organ. That was quite a tough thing to do, to have to verbally say yes to every individual organ, to tissue donation as well. So talking about corneas, talking about bone, talking about skin. That was a really tough part of the process. The Donate Life staff were amazing. It didn't feel like anything was a rush. I could ask questions at each part of the process. They were just amazing support, letting me know who had received Scott's organs. We also donated his corneas, but they were too scratched, so they were used for medical research. And the Donate Life staff were able to tell me all about that. They had regular phone calls with me just to check in, to see how I was going, and with the rest of the family as well. I've never felt so supported, so loved, so cared for And I would just say a huge thank you to all the ICU nurses and doctors and the staff at Donate Life. The donor family coordinators at Donate Life do amazing work.